the contract into perspective,
Yeah.
I probably would just even ask. I've got Gary Al Smith of Joy FM Multimedia on Skype at the moment. I probably have to ask some very important questions, and that's the fact that has anybody even cited the contract? Hello, Gary.
Yes, hi.
Good to talk to you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay. We're talking about this big deal that was signed by the FA with the Star Times Group for the Ghana Premier League, and Dan just made a submission about the fact that it looks a very lucrative deal on the surface, or probably also goes to say that the devil is in the detail. I just want to ask you: you are pretty sometimes close to some of the people at the FA. Have you cited the contract for this particular deal?
No, I haven't. Unfortunately. The only thing I know is that the agency that brokered it is called Proton Sports Group. And they are the agency that brokered the deal. And also, Star Times have previous history, having done some deals in Tanzania as well. And that's where their real, if you like, precedent in Africa has been at the moment. They don't really do well there because of various other factors, but no, I have not seen the contract.
Okay, so for a journalist, and Dan raised some very important points. For a journalist, and you are pretty close to Super Sports and all that, do you have any idea why? One, Super Sports did not renew the deal with the Ghana Football Association. Why the Ghana Football Association did not renew the deal with Super Sports? And if it was an issue of money, why wasn't Super Sports ready to pay more for the Ghana Premier League?
Okay. As I did not join the discussion when you started, but I don't know if it has been pointed out, our Super Sports deal with the GFA, ran out, and there was the option to renew on both parts, on the side of both parties or not. They could not reach an agreement because of a few reasons. The amount of money Super Sport wanted to give, and let's not forget that Super Sport were paying about $700,000 a season to the Ghana Premier League. Most of that money, and it's important I put this in before I go on, and I'll explain why later. Most of that money went into production. So in other TV contracts around the world, for example, the best one that we know is the Premier League, a lot of the money goes actually to the clubs. Okay, in the case of the Ghana Premier League, what went to the clubs wasn't so much. Now, Super Sports were, from what I know, they were differing. They were a bit slow on renewing the deal with the GFA. And then Star Times come in. It is when Star Times come in with an offer that Super Sports starts realizing that, okay, we have to do something serious here. So they start going back to the table with the Ghana Football Association. But by that time, the deal with Star Times looked quite good on paper, which is what they have now. Now, Super Sports, from what we know, and I don't know if you saw this story, there was a story on, notably, Ghana SoccerNet, and especially on myjoyonline.com, actually, our end, that said that Super Sports was willing to have a certain deal with the FA, and that Super Sports were willing to bring up to 3 sponsors on board. The story said that Super Sports were willing to bring a beverage sponsor, a telco, and then a bank in addition. Now, somebody may ask, why would Super Sports need to bring 3 other sponsors on board when they have so much money? The problem or the issue is that Super Sports have been hit very hard by a lot of factors, especially in their Ghana operations. And in the last year or two, electricity has been a problem around Africa, and especially in Ghana, as we know, DUMSO has been a very key issue. So DSTV and Super Sports have had challenges with, the energy sector and putting a lot of money into their fuel and operations. It has been a key reason why they have actually laid a lot of stuff. And so that has been one reason why money has been hard to come by from the Ghana side. 2, as you may know, the EPL rights acquisition has increased a lot in the past several years. Just as a case in point, in China, for example, the Chinese companies that paid for EPL rights this season paid up to $200 million for it. And so if you are Super Sports and you are bidding with companies that are paying such huge amounts, it means that you have to up your stake. What it has meant from a business point of view is that they have had to cut money from all their operations in Ghana, Nigeria, and elsewhere. So, the small that they have to give to Ghana, they have to take some away. Some they have to give to South Africa, some to Nigeria, and so on and so forth. So basically, Super Sport didn't have a lot of money to give to the GFA. and they simply could not match the offer of StarTimes. That is why SuperSport did not immediately renew the deal.
Okay. Let me just ask you, and you have to be quick on this one just before you go, is to ask you, again, you've got to look at, people have questioned the issue of the fact that it's a 10-year deal. You've cited examples of deals across Europe, talked about the English Premier League, which is always the case study for a lot of us, is the fact that these deals are signed on a three-year basis. I mean, why do we go into a 10-year deal with a group, a media group that has the only experience they technically have on the continent is the Tanzanian league, and you're saying that they even have challenges with that. And also with the experience we had with GBS some few years ago where they left us mid-season, it's also something that we need to be curious about. And lastly is to ask the fact that, I mean, you talked about the fact that not all the money that SuperSports paid came to the team. So we heard about $700,000, and not all the money came to them. Some went into production. I've just heard Dan mentioned the fact that in that deal, they're supposed to provide us with an OB van. An OB van, we are told that will cost $7 million. Is that $7 million part of the $18 million?
Okay, so quick one, I don't know the answer to that question. And all the points you have raised are very valid. But I also heard Dan saying that StarTimes are paying this amount for this number of years because they want security. And from that side, it's a good deal for both Ghana and StarTimes because it gives us time to grow together. And let's not be too quick to rubbish this thing because we have seen others, notably Glow, come on 2-3-year deals and they didn't pay on time. What I would say, because you don't have a lot of time, is what really matters in this TV contract that we have is that the money is paid on time to the clubs and distributed properly. Trust me, even if the money is paid on time, first, second week in the season, third week, we will have a good time because all the clubs will be happy. They can do what they can do. And that's the basis of a good broadcaster league and clubs relationship. There are lots of issues with it. But in fact, to be very, very honest with you, we can say all we like that this deal is not good. But the question you have to ask yourself and Dan is, did Ghana have any alternatives? Did anyone feel like investing anything into the Ghana Premier League? And the answer is no.
Okay, thank you very much, Gary.
Right.
So that's Gary L. Smith from Joy FM. He's spoken at length.